y'all, Natalie here for A Cherry on Top, and I'm going to do a mixed media layout today about my birthday. So I have this cut file from Paige Evans. It's from her Facebook group a long time ago, and I want to keep the white parts to fill in. So I'm keeping them on the sticky sheet just like I want them, and I'm just taking off the outline right now. And I'm going to do a 9x12 page. And this is going to be a little bit about using your stash. I know you guys stash up on crepe paper, right? So I'm using a lot of crepe paper today from my stash. And I think that I'm going to do that Nuvo silver on the outline of this cut file. And then I get real messy with it. And then I'm like, why don't I just emboss this? It'll be way easier. So that's what I end up doing. So I cut my paper down. That's from the Wild Heart collection by Crepe Paper. I cut it down to 9x12, and I use those still wet gesso on the back of that cut file to just kind of mark the top and bottom, because I only want to gesso the paper behind the cut file. So I'm going to do some mixed media, and I just wanted to peek around the sides of the cut file, but I want the pattern of the paper to stick around after that. So I use a Tim Holtz Distress brush to brush some white gesso onto this really dark background paper. And this is just a good tip on how to use one of those pretty dark papers that you probably have in your stash if you really like bright white layouts. I feel like this really brightens it up. You'll see here in a minute. So I decided to emboss that instead of use the Nuvo. So I didn't need that gesso because I'm embossing. So I used this gorgeous Mermaid Tails Wow embossing powder. And I feel like embossing powder is something you can really splurge on, because you can see I just dumped all of that on there, but almost all of it goes back into the container and it just lasts forever because you barely used any. And I'm making this huge title. I mean, this title is like 8 inches wide, and you'll see me burn myself here in a second with my heat gun. I have a glass mat, y'all. Like, put it on the glass mat, make it work for yourself, right? So I'm melting it. I'm just doing half and half. There we go. So I melt it, which, is there anything more satisfying than melting embossing powder? Because I don't think so. And I'm going to ink up the other side with my Versa ink pad, and add more of that Mermaid Tails Wow embossing powder. It's so pretty. So the reason I'm doing this is because I'm using crepe paper. Hooray. Look how gorgeous. And it is, all the thickers than that are outlined in silver. And so this was as close as I had to silver embossing powder. And it's like silver with a little bit of like a turquoise feel, which is the color of my background here. So I grabbed my Pink Fresh Studio watercolors, and I used that. I'm sorry, I don't know the names of them, but if you really want to know, I'll look them up and just leave a comment down below. But it's like a seafoam green and like a turquoise, and I want to mix them together. So it's funny because I added that gesso, and it just so follows the pattern of the gesso really well. So that worked out really great. So I'm just dropped them onto the gesso, and then I'm just spraying water and just moving the paper around. And I left all of that in here because it's super satisfying to watch, and I needed a little more blue there. So you'll have to excuse me. I'm sorry. I have allergies acting up, and my throat is just not feeling it today, but how to do this voiceover for you guys. So yeah, isn't that so pretty? I wanted like the turquoisey green, but I wanted, I like how some parts are greener and some parts are bluer. And so I'm going to let this dry, and it dries really light, but then there's still some white bits around the edge. So I need to go back in. So I just go with my brush, and I use my heat tool to dry, and that will give me some of the hard lines that I do like from a watercolor look. And you'll see what I mean here in a second when I dry it. Just kind of exactly what I said, a hard line, like a distinct line where you can see where I put on that second layer, and it's just really pretty. So yeah, I'm really liking how this turned out. And this is a layout about my birthday gift for my 35th birthday. It was a new iPhone, which I'm filming this video on. The videos are so much clearer. I love them so much. So there are the thickers from the Crepe Paper Celebrate collection, or confetti. Is it Celebrate or confetti? I'm not sure. I'm sorry. Let's see. It's Celebrate. Yep, it's Celebrate. I had it right. And so I'm trying to figure out how to finish my title. I want it to be to me. And so I'm either going to use the smaller Concord and Night dies or those larger Momenta dies. And I figure I want it to be the smaller. So now I'm going to fill in with the pieces that are left, with the white pieces. And so I don't make you watch all of that. I glued down the embossed title, and then I go through and fill in all the little pieces. And I thought about leaving out kind of a geometric look and leaving out the smaller pieces, but I decided I liked it better with all of the white pieces in. You could have done either though, and I think it would have looked really cool. So here I just smudged some embossing ink, or some ink and some embossing powder onto a piece of white cardstock, because those letters from Concord and Night are so tiny that I knew once I cut them out, they would be really hard to emboss. So I'm going to emboss a sheet and then cut them out of the sheet. So I use the same Mermaid Tails Wow embossing powder, and I go cut them out, and I just decide to use the outlines, not the filled in shape. So Yay Happy Birthday to Me is the entire title, which is also basically the entire page embellishment. And then I pull out the super cool collection, the die cuts and the stickers from Pink Fresh Studio. And there's that cute little camera, because I use my phone as my camera. It's as good as my DSLR, so it's my camera now. And so I just kind of picked out a couple, I picked out a blue phone, but then in the sticker sheet, there was a green phone, and that kind of went with the green camera. So I ended up using that one. And then I use the Yay exclamation mark to finish out the title. So it kind of draws the eye and combines the top one and the bottom. So I grabbed that label as well from a Pink Fresh Studio collection to do my journaling. And I just stuck a little celebrate sticker in there, and then I put the date and just wrote a little bit of journaling about my birthday gift, which was like, my husband gave it for me, but really I was like, hey, buy me this. I need this. And it's midnight green. It's like this olive green color. Oh, it's so pretty. But the pictures are so good. Like, I was taking a picture of my face the other day, and I was like, oh my gosh, do I really have this many wrinkles? It's almost too good, y'all. So I'm really embracing the silver. I did silver on another recent layout too. I'm loving the silver. So I use all of the stars from that thicker pack as well. And then that is another piece from Too Cool. And I'm going to stick everything down. That's a little sticker from the BU collection from Amy Tangerine. I use a couple of thickers from there, just fun exclamation words. And then we're about done. I'm going to add some silver gemstones around because I'm extra like that, and we're about done. So I'm going to link down below with my affiliate link to the Cherry on Top store. There's so many fun goodies. Pick up some silver embellishments. You won't be sorry. And I'm also going to link my Instagram down below, and give me a like and subscribe if you don't mind, and I appreciate it. Thanks, y'all. Bye.